Hello everyone. Sorry for having to fix things up here right at the last second. So you will notice that on Facebook I mentioned that I dropped the cross products topic from today's stream. I just wanted to focus on the one topic that I have, and also I didn't want to put out bad content in terms of teaching what a cross product is. I need to make sure that I solidify my working knowledge of cross products as a topic before I move on to trying to teach to other people. Although I do know how to use cross products, I want to make sure that I am covering all of the basis I need to when it comes to that. So today I just have one topic, but first I'm going to talk about the talk a little bit about what I talked about on Wednesday. So on Wednesday, I talked about the fake stock market, which I started. Which actually reminds me, I need to make sure I take the poll off of this one. So what's going to happen is that uh, all of the all of the I'll have to take that off. So if you see the poll up in the corner of this one, it doesn't really matter on this video. But so what I'm doing is I have a fake stock market going on. And essentially, what's going to be happening is all of the guests that come on the show will have an opportunity to buy into the stock market with fake money. And so we'll have a little competition going. But the cool thing is that with the votes that people give on YouTube, I will be adjusting the values of the stocks. So what you can do if you haven't already is go back to the Wednesday stream. It should be the first video before this one on the stream on the videos tab, and you can vote in the corner for the stock of your choice. And what will happen is if anyone has that stock, which at the moment nobody has bought in, I haven't even bought in. I'm saving that for the channel's anniversary or the revamp's anniversary on the 15th. But what I'm going to do is allow the market to fluctuate a little bit before I buy in, just to see how things go. So if you want to participate in that, you can go back to the previous video. Now, obviously, if it's already been a Wednesday since then and you're watching this late, then you can't participate in that particular vote. But if you go to the latest Wednesday video and look for the card up in the corner, you will be able to vote in that poll. So you can go do that. I was actually gonna check to see what the values were. So bear with me for a second, but I want to see what the values are. So at the moment, green has a 50% vote, red has a 25% vote, yellow has a 25% vote, and blue has a 0% vote. Now, this means that at the moment, green has a pretty good chance of increasing its value, and all the other ones will either level out or go down or possibly go up, considering if it's a good market day. So there's a random factor into the stock market that goes in every time that I'm adjusting the values, and that's a number between 1 and 50, and it will decide whether it's a good day or a bad day in the market. So that's basically what's been going on with the channel. I haven't really had too much time, but I do have time now to start working again on the AI and on my other projects. I did actually work a little bit on the comic today. I didn't get too much done. It was a picture I had started, and I'm just slowly cleaning it up. It does seem that it's been getting more and more tedious to actually clean up each of the pictures, but I think I just need to get back in the momentum of things and work things out. So I want to thank you guys if you've come out to the stream today, and the topic for today is the Nickelback effect. So this is an idea that I've talked about a little bit on the channel before, and I want to elaborate on it and sort of give some classification to it. So pretty much everyone knows the band Nickelback, but in a sense, Nickelback is infamous because people tend to deem Nickelback as a bad band. And granted, their music isn't amazing. Their songs are pretty simplistic in terms of their chord progressions. Their lyrics aren't crazy with meaning and whatnot. But the point that I want to get across is that, in all honesty and in all aspects of it, Nickelback is an average band. They had one album which was extremely popular. That album was All the Right Reasons, and back in the time of that album's release, they were very popular, and they were very. There was a lot of fans of Nickelback, and the thing is that there a lot of people listen to their music, including me. I have a lot on my phone just because I actually had their big hit album, um, but something changed, and what changed was that Nickelback became a meme, and so over time, this idea of seeing them on the internet as being funny sort of created this aspect of people thinking that their music was a lot worse than it actually is, and it's interesting psychologically because I think that yes, Nickelback didn't really have that good music to start off, but what happened was a lot of people, because they saw them as a joke, they didn't give them any respect, and it actually lowered their actual perception of the music itself. It's funny because I'll go back and I'll listen to some of the songs and I'll think to myself, this isn't that bad. There's solid electric guitar in here. Yes, it is a little harder than most of the top 40 hits of today, but that is a preference thing. That's not necessarily a musical quality problem. So but the thing is that this effect doesn't really restrict itself to Nickelback, and so that's what I want to talk about. Is that it is something that happened to Nickelback and is still happening to Nickelback, but it isn't it isn't restricted to Nickelback. So I want to broaden the scope a little bit, and so what essentially I'm saying is that there's this phenomena where if something becomes famous on the internet for being funny, or in a funny sense, whereas it becomes a meme where there's pictures and weird videos of them on the internet, then it does draw attention, and a lot of people say any attention is good attention in the music industry and in showbiz and whatnot, but it doesn't really work that way. And so when people get this perception of a group or a person as not respected, and sort of this character that is just a laughing stock of the internet, it really puts a dampen on how people perceive that person's work. And it's interesting because there's a lot of different situations where this occurs. If you look at perhaps Kanye West in a different light, people don't see him as a good person, and I would have to agree with them on that. He's done a lot of interesting things. He's said some bad things on the internet. He has a very high opinion of himself, but the thing is, you can't deny that he has talent, and that's where I'm getting at, is that a lot of people tend to link the product to the creator too much, and I think that's a bad idea because if you look at the actual production that the person has created, then it's there should be some objective view. Now, I understand that when it comes to music, when it comes to art, it's not usually an objective kind of situation. A lot of times people tend to perceive things how they perceive it, and everybody sees things differently. But the interesting fact is that when the perception is changed by people's preconceived notions through funny pictures on the internet, then it tends to sort of ruin the experience for people, and they actually feel as if that song is bad, or that even that painting is bad. And I think that that's a problem that I have with the art industry, and actually with anything that has media scrutiny, is that um, with anything that is seen so subjectively, people tend to base everything off of an initial spark, an initial idea that they gain on upon having this person or group introduced to them. And so if someone were to say randomly uh, pick a number one through however many songs there are on an album of somebody's music, and they happen to pick the worst song on the album, then when they go to hear the best song, they'll probably not have as good of an experience with the music in general as someone who hears the best song first and then goes and listens to the worst song. Um, but I'm sidetracking a little bit. So this Nickelback effect has affected many different artists and people throughout the years. Linkin Park got Nickelbacked for a little bit. Shia LaBeouf is currently getting Nickelbacked, but he's kind of pushing it with a lot of the things he's doing. And I think that it's important for people to step back every once in a while and try and look at how the world is viewing something and see if that's an actual objective view of something. Because people tend to believe that if a large group of people come to the same decision, then that means that that decision is the correct decision. But that doesn't necessarily hold true because in the world we live in, with social media connecting everyone, people tend to come to the same decision because one person comes to that decision, tells their friends, and it affects their decision making process, and then they tell their friends. And so that's how ideas propagate, and it doesn't necessarily allow for this objective view. And so, obviously, no one can truly be objective. We'll always have biases with anything. But I think it's important for you to try to step out of your own perspective and look at things from a third party perspective, or perhaps go and ask a third party in a scientific manner where um, you try to not persuade someone one way or the other before asking them a question. So that's the Nickelback effect. It's to summarize, it's mass memification causing a reduce in respect, which then alters the perception of the viewers in a negative connotation. So um, that's all I want to really say on the topic. And with a quick break and switching some things up, I'm going to be moving on to my random drawing. So I will be right back with that. I just realized I didn't grab my calculator, but I guess I'll just use Siri or something. I think Siri can give random numbers. So we're going to work with it. But this is the random drawing section. If you've never seen any one of these before, don't worry. None of them are canon. You're not missing anything by jumping in on this one. But if you do enjoy, I encourage you to go check out some of the other ones. I'll probably link one up in the corner or something like that right here. But without further ado, that's probably not the right way to say that. Um, I will be starting the drawing. So we're going to get three random numbers. So let's see what Siri can do. Give me a random number between 1 and 25. Okay, well, we're going to try again. Random number between 1 and 25. Let's see if this works. Oh,
It's 24.
24. That works. That's grass. That's our noun. Random number between 1 and 25.
6.
6 is. We already had that. Random number between 1 and 25. 21. We've had that. Random number between 1 and 25.
The answer is 14.
14 is open. So we have grass and open as our verb. And finally, I'm sorry for the length of this, but we need one more random word. So, random number between 1 and 25.
It's 19.
19. We've used that before. Random number between 1 and 25.
It's 25.
25 is plywood. I guess that's an adjective. Okay. So we have our noun is grass, our verb is open, and our adjective is plywood. So um, we need something that is opening something because open is the verb that is made of plywood and has to do with grass. So um, I guess if you were now, I guess what we would need to do is describe what not to do when growing grass. So, if you didn't want to grow some grass correctly, then obviously you need to take the sun completely out of the question, right? So, if you want to grow some grass incorrectly, um, you need to create a box. So we're gonna create a box. Let's just get the side of a house here, and we're gonna get a box going, a plywood box actually. So what is nice about plywood is they're made out of little bits of random assortments of wood. So they all go in different directions in an attempt to lower the slip planes and the planes in which the wood would be more likely to crack. So let's see. I can see already that that's not finished in a rectangle. So hopefully now I can color that in. And there we go. Okay, so there's our plywood box. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna have our person walk up to the box, somewhat zombie-like, and they have their bag of seeds. And what they're going to do is step one, open the box. And so they will open the box, which has a plywood lid, but in this two-dimensional picture you cannot see that. They're going to take each individual seed and they will plant them in. So, okay, if we're not growing grass, then we need to not have soil. So soil, our soil is just out of the question. And so what we're going to do is instead have nothing in there. There's just going to be air. So instead of carefully planting the seeds, our person here is just going to take this bag right here and just kind of toss it into the box and see what happens. So hopefully there will be no random explosions in a quantum mechanics sense. It is possible, but the probability is rather low. But so yeah, so our person is going to be throwing this into the box. So step two is toss bag, and so this process of not growing grass is also somewhat useful in disposing of a body, if that's a something you're interested in. But I think that we actually have a pretty complete picture here. I don't know if there's any chat on what you see here, but I'm not seeing any. So I want to thank you guys for watching. I know this was somewhat of a short one, but if you haven't already, go check out the Wednesday stream and vote for the stock market. And I will be seeing you guys on next Wednesday. I think, yeah. So I'm done with school and have finals left. I have some on Wednesday, but they are in the morning and midday. So I will be done with that by the afternoon and will be able to stream at the normal time. And so hopefully I will have some work done on the AI. But if not, we'll just be discussing the stock market and how that has played out. So I want to thank you guys for watching, and I will see you on Wednesday.